Shalom, Yasharallah. All praise to Yahweh by Shem HaMashiach Yahushai. If you gonna be on Facebook, I'm on a different screen right now. So I may not be able to address any comments that anybody has, but I'm going back and forth between this screen that you see on your screen and then the actual Facebook screen to see if there's any issues or questions that anybody wants to bring up. So if I delay in it, you know why. But I want to say that, the Most High can use a tragic situation and turn it into something that he wants to accomplish. So being able to take, lemons and making lemonade out of it, that's Yahweh's specialty. Because, he made lemons and he made the sugar and the water to make the lemonade. You know what I'm saying? So we have to always be, mindful of the Most High. We have to be mindful, of him and of what he wants us to do and what he has in store for us, and keep our spirits open and don't block out anything, and that's how we see with this, with this temple that we have, in Israel, this tabernacle that the Most High has us building. Okay, so the Most High has us building this tabernacle, and as we building it, we're gonna see what what happened. Remember now, Shalom Lakah, Yermayahu and Ikaran. Now remember, as we reading about this word right here, all right, Mishkan, which means tabernacle, dwelling place. As we read about this, remember this is talking about the tabernacle of the Most High, with the beautiful curtains, the gold, and then the silver base, and all the instruments inside of it, the tabernacle. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and just read through it, because we got a lot that's going on today. All right, so this is the fourth Torah Parashah. The fifth Torah Parashah for Vayak'hel, which is Vayak'hel, which means he assembled and he brought together. And we're going to start with Exodus chapter 36, and he's going to deal with the building the tabernacle, of the construction and the building of the tabernacle of Israel, of Yasharallah, that Yahweh told us to make, and then how we can build up the tabernacle, of our spirit. We can build up our spirits also. Okay, so I'm going to start with chapter 36, verse 20. And he made the planks for the Mishkan of acacia wood upright. 10 cubits was the length of each plank, and 1.5 cubits was the width of each plank. Each plank had 2 square pegs, rung like, one even with the other. So did he make for all the planks of the Mishkan. And he made planks for the Mishkan, 20 planks for the southern side, and he made 40 silver sockets under the 20 planks. 2 sockets under one plank for its 2 square pegs, and 2 sockets under one plank for its 2 square pegs. And the one side of the Mishkan on the second side, and for the second side of the Mishkan, on the northern side, he made 20 planks. And there are 40 silver sockets, 2 sockets under one plank, and 2 sockets under one plank. And for the western end of the Mishkan, he made 6 planks. And he made 2 planks at the corners of the Mishkan at the end, and they were matched evenly from below, and together they matched at its top, to be put into the one ring. So did he make for them, for both of them, for the 2 corners. And there were 8 planks and their silver sockets, 16 sockets, 2 sockets under 1 plank, and 2 sockets under 1 plank. And he made bars of acacia wood, 4 for the planks of one side of the Mishkan, and 5 bars for the plank of the second side of the Mishkan, which means the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the planks of the rear side of the Mishkan on the westward end, which is by the Holy of Holies, Ark of the Covenant. Verse 33. And he made the middle bar to penetrate into the midst of the planks from one end to the other end. And he overlaid the planks with gold, and their rings he made of gold as holders for the bars. And he overlaid the bars with gold. And he made the dividing of blue, purple, and crimson wood, and twisted fine linen, the work of a master weaver. He made it in a woven cherubim design. And he made for it 4 pillars of acacia wood, and he overlaid them with gold. Their hooks were gold, and he cast for them 4 silver sockets. And he made a screen for the entrance of the tent, verse 7, of blue, purple, crimson, wool, and twisted fine linen, the work of an embroiderer. And its 5 pillars and their hooks, and he overlaid their tops and their bands with gold. And their 5 sockets were copper. Batazal Allah, which means, remember, in the shadow of God, in the shadow of the power. Batazal Allah made the ark of acacia wood, 2.5 cubits long, 1.5 cubits wide, and 1.5 cubits high. And he overlaid it with pure gold from inside and from outside. And he made for it a golden crown all around. And he cast 4 golden rings for it upon its 4 corners, 2 rings on its one side and rings on its other side. And he made poles of acacia wood and overlaid them with gold. And he inserted the poles into the rings of the sides of the ark to carry the ark. And he made an ark cover of pure gold, 2.5 cubits long and 1.5 cubits wide. He made 2 golden cherubim. He made them of hammered work from the 2 ends of the ark cover, 1 cherub from the one end and the other cherub from the other end. From the ark cover, he made cherubim from its 2 ends. The cherub had their wings spread upwards, shielding the ark cover with their wings, with their faces toward one another, turned toward the ark cover were the faces of the cherubim. And he made a table of acacia wood, 2 cubits long, 1 cubit wide, and 1.5 cubits high. He overlaid it with pure gold, and he made for it a golden crown all around. So get down for your crown. And he made for it a frame, a handbreadth wide all around, and he made a golden crown for its frame all around. And he cast for it 2 golden rings, and he placed the rings at the 4 corners that are on its 4 legs. The rings were opposite the frame as holders for poles, with which to carry the table. And he made the poles of acacia wood, and he overlaid them with gold to carry the table. And he made the implements that are on the table, its form, its spoons, its half pipes, or half pipe to do a reverse boneless tweak, right? No, what I was talking about. And its supports with which it will be covered of pure gold. Okay. Right, so that's the 5th day Torah reading, Exodus chapter 36, verse 20, through Exodus chapter 37, verse 16. Let's try to do a quick review on this. Right, now remember, when you got the Mishkan is the tabernacle, dwelling place. The acacia wood, remember, you got the gum acacia, you got the gum Arabic, acacia gum that comes from this tree. That ants, pinching ants, stinging ants live in this tree inside the thorns that are on the tree. And it will sting you if you touch the tree, come near the tree, they start to sting you. Also, the tree releases ethylene that can kill animals that come up to it trying to eat its fruit. So if the tree is deadly and the tree has thorns in it, but then once you get to the inside of the tree and what's excreted from it, it's a very sweet medicinal sugar that comes from the tree. All right. So research that it's called gum Arabic and then acacia gum. Okay. So now 10 cubits. Remember, a cubit, whatever it is, plus half of what you're talking about. All right. So you got 1.5 cubits. So it's going to be half of a cubit and then half of a cubit, which is a cubit is 18 inches. And half a cubit is 9 inches. That's 24 inches, which is 2 feet. So 1.5 cubits is going to be a total of a full yard. All right. A cubit, which is 18 inches. I'm sorry. Let's do that again. A cubit, which is 18 inches, plus this half cubit. You don't got to do no multiplication because we adding the real numbers. That's 9 inches. That's 24 inches, 2 feet. The width of these planks. And with these planks, they had pegs inside of them, and they stuck the pegs together. All right, they drilled the hole on each piece of wood, and then they put like a peg inside of them. And when they put this inside of it, what it did was held the wood together. You know, made it like a wall. Basically, what it made a solid wall. And everything was perfectly, flush and perfectly flush and perfectly even. Right, perfectly flush and perfectly even. Everything was lined up, and they had to do that. They had to line everything up, perfectly. So we're talking about a loose, remember these pegs were loose pegs, which you may call like a loose tenon. All right. And then we had the mortise, which is the hole that they put inside of the planks. All right. And then they had to put at the bottom, they had a peg that they would put between the acacia wood and the socket at the bottom, which was a base to hold the planks, which are the beams, the boards up. All right, so they had the rung, that's talking about the tenon, which is like a peg or like a dowel You can call it a dowel, all right? But it was square dowels, square pegs that went into one side of the board and then the other side of the board, and you pushed them together. They fit, but this was a mobile. The Mishkan or Mashkan was mobile, so they would take it apart. So this had to be like a loose tenon, meaning it fit, but it wasn't permanent. It wasn't supposed to swell up and stay in one place. All right. So now 20 planks. Okay, so we got the sockets of silver. Side, on the north, 20 planks. Okay. This is talking about the planks. Once again, that acacia wood. The acacia wood. Now, what I want to say right here, the planks in the corners were held it together, which means they had to know about a squared plus b squared equals c squared. All ancient architects knew about this, the Pythagorean theorem. All right. A squared plus b squared c squared, because when you square something off and you make a triangle diagonal from one corner to another, the two sides squared, the one side squared plus the second side squared is supposed to equal to the third side squared, which is the longest side. For example, if you got a side that 30 feet, or let's say 3, let's break it down to 3. 3 squared is 9, plus 4 squared, which is 16, equals 5 squared, which is going to give you 25. All right, 25. Let's say 25 feet, or let's say 25 yards, or cubits, or whatever. So if you measure your short side and your long side, the longest side, the diagonal side that's not on that 90-degree angle, because all your side would be 90 degrees. And if you don't get 90 degrees, your measurement, your math is going to be off. A squared plus b squared is not going to give you c squared. So if you have 30 plus 40 as your two square sides that meet at a 90-degree angle, right, then your diagonal side should equal your measurement from the one end opposite to the 90-degree angle to the other end going away from the 90-degree angle. That there should equal 50 feet if you're doing with 30 and 40. So this works for any number that you're dealing with when you're doing construction. So you got to, so beauty of this is that these walls stayed in place with corner pieces right here. These 6 planks, the 2 planks on the corners of the Mishkan at the end were very important. And that's why they tell you they match from below and they match on the top. He put in one ring, so did he make for both of them for the 2 corners. Let you know that these things were plumb and they were squared and they joined 2 walls together. So that's how the wall stayed in place. It was like a perfect framing job. And if you do any building, you know that it's hard to sometimes frame your building good. This was a perfect framing job. All right. Supervised by Batazal Allah. All right. So now the 5 bars of acacia wood, 5 bars, okay. Middle bar. So they had the bars that were keeping everything together. All right. They're keeping that whole wall together. Verse 36. The 4 pillars of acacia wood were like pillars. We don't know if they were square or rectangular or well, we don't know if they were square or if they were circular. But these were the 4 pillars of wood that gold put over top of. And these 4 were at the front. And the screen right here is like a see-through curtain that was kind of a loose woven design, almost like gauze. Almost like balls. And it had the blue, which we know that blue now represents what? The blue represents the laws and the commandments. This purple right here represents the royalty and the riches. All right. And then this crimson right here represents what? Represents the blood, represents sacrifice. And it also represents what? The covenants. covenant of blood of Paul, and the covenant with the blood of Yahushua Hamashiach. All right. So now we got this needlework that's being done also. All right. This needlework is being done also. Now, when we see the needlework, we talked about the hooks that the curtains were set on. That Hebrew word is wal yaham, is their hooks. If we didn't say wal yaham, we can only say uwal yaham if you're going by the U's. So that's how we know it was the wa that we were using, not the U. So it was wawa yaham, which means hooks there. Okay. Now the 5 pillars in their hooks right here, not the 4, the 5. 4 in the front, 5 in these right here were in front of the holy of holies back. I mean in front of the holy of holies, yeah. All right, they're in front of the holy of holies. Finish. So let me see something. I think they made it. Check this out right here. Talk about the 5 hooks. We're gonna get back to that. 5 pillars. Copper, Nachashath, Hamasha. It's 5 pillars. The hooks are there. There we go. And 5 sockets of copper. All right, so all right, so let's move to chapter 37. Call out of the body Yahweh not Aisha not Shemaiah. All that Yahweh said will be doing here. Now the word Bezalel, remember we already covered him yesterday. That his name Bezalel means in the shadow of Allah, in the shadow of God. Ba Tazal Allah, in the shadow of the power. So he made the ark of acacia wood, and inside this ark we had Aaron's rod. We were going to put a measurement of the manna that Yahweh is from, and we're going to put Aaron's rod, the staff, the small little staff that Aaron had. Okay, put that inside there. All right. Now this is 2.5 cubits long. Now remember, a cubit is 18, so that's 3 inches plus 9 inches. I mean that's 3 feet. All right, that's 1 cubit. All right, because 2. All right, 2, and then you go into the it's 2 plus half or whatever it is. All right, so it's the whole number plus half. That's 3 feet. And then right here, so half a cubit, that's 9 inches. So 3 feet 9 inches was the overall length, all right, of the ark. Now this ark had gold, and the walls we just read about up here. The walls had gold in them too. And it had gold all around the ark, inside and outside. Right. Then we had the 4 rings on it, and those rings you would carry it, you know, from the short side. Okay. Acacia wood, sides of the ark. And I remember the sides of the ark are going to be the short way. All right, not the long way. All right, the short way. And then he covered that ark. Everything was covered with gold. Everything. Remember, gold is a conductor, high speed conductor of electricity and energy. All right. So 2 golden cherubim, they hammered the wood. I mean, they hammered the gold. So they made like almost like a molding for it. All right. So they had like a mold they put underneath, took the gold, put it on top of it, then took that mold out, and then kind of just seamed it together. All right. That's how they did the cherubim, which is like angelic creatures that had their wings, 2 wings on each side going above their heads and then meeting at the top, like a cover. Okay. So their wings spread upward. All right. And they cover, you know, and the table, acacia wood, on the outside again. This is a table for the showbread. 12 pieces of bread went on here. And every Sabbath, they would change the showbread. Okay, they'll change the showbread. All right, now the rings were opposite the frame as holders, meaning the rings were kind of catty corner. Okay, because you got a square frame, so the only way to go, or you got a rectangular frame, the only way to go, well, square frame. Only way you go, let's confirm that up here. Well, this table, I'm sorry, not this one. That was the ark. That was the altar, the table of the altar of incense that had the diagonal one on there. All right. So the four rings, placing rings, four corners that are on its four legs. Okay, so this one did not have just two. It had four rings in all of the sides. I got it confused with the ark of the incense, with the altar of incense that was a square frame, and then you had a ring on two opposite corners, two diagonal corners. All right, so the rings were opposite the frame, holders, poles. All right, let me just have four rings. Right, it was made of acacia wood, overlaid in with gold to carry the table. All right, so that's the Torah reading for right now. So now what I want to try to go into, I want to go into something real quick. You know, we're gonna be pretty quick today. Let's go into. I want to go in Colossians chapter 2. Colossians 2. Let's go there. 1. Say 2, man. I want to get to the last two verses real quick. This is Colossians chapter 2, verse 22. Which all are to perish with the using, all right, after the rudiments and doctrines of men. We can get into that a little later. But basically, it's talking about people be telling you to do certain things that aren't relevant to what the Most High have said, but they have created these things to make you do something that they said is a good idea, and they made up this ordinance. Right? Let's go to verse 20. Wherefore, if ye be dead with Hamashiach from the rudiments of the world. So we dead to the basic element people say you got to do in the world as part of some type of spiritual mumbo jumbo or some type of superstitious system. Why, as though living in the world, are ye subject to ordinances? This is talking about the ordinances of men, the things that they make up. Touch not, taste not, handle not. People say, oh yeah, you can't eat meat. You know, you can't eat lamb. Most never said that. Which are all to perish with the using. So saying that you can't do these certain things that the Most High said you can do, and then you subjecting yourself to these rules that men have made up, all of these things are going to perish. Right? So you're subjecting yourself to what man has set up after the commandments of doctrines of men. So say, why are you dealing with these things that men have made up? Now, this next part is going to address what I'm about to say. Which things have indeed a show of wisdom in will worship and humility and neglecting of the body, not in any honor to the satisfying of the flesh. So they say that they look like on the outside that you neglecting, that you're doing something. Humility, all right. Will worship, worshiping what you want to do, how you want to carry things out, according to the will of this person that's over you or according to your own self. Have a show of wisdom in will worship and humility. Have a show of humility. and neglecting the body. Oh, we got to fast. We're not going to eat, or we're not going to comb my hair. We're going to let our hair lock up. You see that? Oh, humility. Oh, yes, I. Oh, I, and you know, these are things. This comes from the English that Elon used to say when they came to Jamaica. Not in any honor to the satisfying of the flesh. So they said, well, we denying our flesh. We're not honoring our flesh, but the Most High is saying through the Holy Spirit right here that these things are you going after the commandments and doctrines of men. All right. So they said, well, you're subjecting yourself to what man is saying you got to do or must do, as opposed to what he says, what the Spirit says. So when you talk about neglecting your body, don't neglect your body. Take care of your temple. Feed your temple. Don't drink too much. Don't eat too much. You know, don't give your body, you know, too much thing. If you give your body everything it desires, then you're going to pay for that. All right? You look at Proverbs. I'm going to tell you what to look up. Look up SMART. SMART in Ecclesiastica. You'll find it. All right? So you're going to smart for that. Smart for that. So yeah, you can't just do things because you think that this is something I want to do. How is this going to affect your spirit? So just like we see the tabernacle getting built, and we see that they didn't just give anything they wanted to give or what they thought, they followed the direction of the Most High. Yahweh have given you a body. All right, trim your nails, brush your teeth, comb your hair, moisturize your skin. All right, clean your body. Put, you know, wash it with lime, wash it with baking soda, wash it with black soap, natural black soap, wash it with, you know, Dr. Bonner soap, wash it with Castile. These are just basic ingredient soaps that are good for your body. So you can't just give your body everything that you think that it wants in your soul. You got to do what's good and best for your body. And the same way the Most High got us building up that temple, that tabernacle in the wilderness, it's the same way you now have to build up your tabernacle when you wake up to who you really are as a child of the Most High, as an Israelite, as a servant of the Most High power. All right? Because if you give your soul the desires that please your soul, then it's going to make people laugh at you. You're going to be a laughing stock to your enemies that already hate you. All right, that's Ecclesiasticus 18 and 31. All right, so now when we're dealing with our bodies, we have to, the same way the Most High is very specific about what he wants to be done with all these different planks and beams and sockets and pegs and tenons. All right, with this mortise, with these pillars and these curtains and this dye, and the same way for your body. The Most High tells you what he wants you to wear, how he wants you to dress. He tells you he wants blue on everything you wear. That's why he said put on the fringe a ribbon of blue. So the Most High told us exactly how he wants things done. So we have to do it, you know, his way. You know, so that's all we got for today. Now remember, the Passover, the New Year is gonna, not the New Year, but the new month is gonna be in 6 more nights. All right, so-called March 5th at night. All right, it's gonna be the new month. The New Year is gonna be so-called April 4th. All right, and Passover is gonna be April 18th. It's gonna be April 18th, Passover. And then after Passover, beginning April 18th at sunset, we have the last day of Passover that begins on April 24th to April 25th. You know, sunset to sunset. So those are the next holy days. And that's my time for today. all praise to Yahweh, the most high power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right. And all praise to his son for giving his life for our sins, or who is above all things right now. Yahweh has been made the head of all things. Right. Of course, we know Yahweh is over him, but Yahweh Shai is on site, supervising everything answers to him right now. All right. So he told us plainly in that same book of Colossians that we just read that he's in charge. All right. So all praise to Yahweh Bashem Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. We had a nice little time. All right. 36 minutes. Shema Yasha Allah Yahweh Eloheinu Yahweh Akkad. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh our power, Yahweh is one. Yabarakaka Yahweh Bashem Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. Yahweh bless you in the name of Yahweh Shai, the Messiah. And the Most High be with you. Shalom Alaikum. Hallelujah.